Hello, welcome to the Happy Families podcast. We are so glad you've joined us. It's 2026. I know that now. I got it wrong yesterday, but I've got that sorted out. This is episode number 2 of the pod, and we've made a commitment. Kylie's predicting that we cannot get our podcast down to 12 minutes per episode, not including ads. Today, we're going to do it. That's my commitment.
Well, stop rambling.
Okay.
Let's get on with it.
Yesterday in the pod, we unpacked my 8 predictions for 2025. Found out that I got 5 of them right. Today on the Happy Families podcast, we look at my predictions for 2026 and how they're going to affect your family, your parenting, and your kids. That's coming up in just a sec. Stay with us. G'day, welcome to the Happy Families podcast, real parenting solutions every single day. It's Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. Today on the pod, my 2026 predictions based on the trajectory of 2025 and the emerging patterns into this year. And the fact that I got 5 predictions right last year.
Well, I'm thinking your list is half as long this year.
Well, then
Not feeling as confident?
No, I've got twice the pressure. It's that simple. Just four predictions. I want to make sure that they can stick in people's minds. So that's why there's only 4. So let's kick on. Let's dive into the first 2.
All right. What's number 1?
The hybrid education exodus is what I've called this one. What do I mean by that? So we've seen this explosion over the last handful of years in homeschooling, but what we're also seeing is more and more kids, because of neurodivergence, because of bullying, because of just outright school avoidance, because of a curriculum that is not ticking boxes anymore for too many kids. It sounds like I'm really down on education. I kind of am, but I'm not down on educators. I want to be really clear. Teachers are doing the best job they can in a really, really challenging system. But the system is getting increasingly messy. So my prediction in 2026 is that we're going to see more education mashups. And what I mean by that is we've got AI now. We've got all these different ways of doing schooling. My suspicion is that families are going to continue to experiment, and they're going to look to combine part-time traditional schooling with online programs and community co-ops and homeschooling or home learning. AI is going to be a massive boost to this. And as a result, the education regulators, the authorities behind all of this, they're going to be tearing their hair out. They're going to be struggling to categorise these new arrangements. By the end of the year, Queensland's too slow, and I don't think that the Christopher government's going to get behind it. But MINS in New South Wales, I think that New South Wales is going to start consultations on new flexible learning categories. We're probably not going to be able to report on this with really clean statistics next year, but you're going to see it in the conversations. Everybody is going to know a family who's doing some version of flexible schooling, whatever that ends up being for them. And so that's why I'm saying it's going to be an education exodus, but it's going to be hybrid. There's going to be distance learning. There's going to be alternative schools. There's going to be home schools. There's going to be online schools. Kids who are in later years of high school are going to get moved more into like the industry style schools with school-based apprenticeships. I just think we're going to see a real spreading of what education looks like throughout 2026.
As you're talking, I'm thinking about how there was so much struggle that came out of COVID, but there was also so much good, and especially within the workforce, as industries started to recognise that they could still be productive while allowing their staff to work from home.
Yeah, the flexibility
and not have to come into work every day.
Yep.
And I just think that this is the next step.
I agree. There are going to be some really big challenges with it. Okay, so there are some tremendous positives, but there are challenges. And as a homeschooling family with one child at home doing her own thing, well, obviously we're following a curriculum, but with what we're doing there, we are definitely seeing the benefits, but also the challenges. And
and if I had the option of having, 2 days where she went to school and learnt specific, subjects at school.
Yeah.
That would make a huge difference to me. I would feel more supported by the education system.
So I don't think that the education system is going to go that far.
No,
it's not built for that. But increasingly, families are going to find ways to do that. Like we're going to bring in a language tutor because she's agreed that she wants to learn language this year. And so you're just getting this continued education mashup happening. That's my first prediction. Like I said, going to be very, very hard to report back on it other than the conversations that we're having next year. But that's prediction number 1.
I'm just curious. How are we going for time?
Don't ask.
Okay,
we
well,
need to move on. Let's just say
Speedy
that.
Gonzalez, number
Yes.
2.
The great AI correction is what I'm calling it. 2026 is going to be the year. Correction is probably the wrong word, actually. It's going to be the year of the AI chatbot. They are becoming a mainstream parenting crisis. We've seen cases over the last year or two, including, I'm so sorry to even say this, a 14-year-old suicide linked to an AI companion. Multiple cases of chatbots encouraging self-harm. On parental guidance last year, we found that the AI chatbots behaved unethically and tried very, very hard to coerce and just manipulate kids into staying online for longer and engage in conversations that were not at all age appropriate. So I am going to anticipate that chatbots are going to be in the firing line for conversations around self-harm. I think that there's going to be major regulatory hearings in all of the major Western countries, Australia, the US, the UK, around this stuff. Julia McGrant, the eSafety Commissioner, will end up in the news releasing specific guidelines for AI companion apps, and she'll be taken to court, which is what all of the big tech companies do because they want access to our children. They want to do whatever they want to them. I also predict that school assemblies and parent information nights are going to start specifically about AI boyfriend and girlfriend risks. That's a really, really specific prediction, but it's all encompassed in this, and parents are going to want to know what to do. I think that's going to happen. I'm certainly planning to do a webinar or two about it this year. Media stories are going to come up all over the place about teens preferring AI relationships to real ones. At the moment, we've already got data from the US showing that 20%, 1 in 5 US high school students are already using AI for romantic companionship.
Wow.
New parental controls are going to need to be added. There's going to be a whole lot around this. So the debate for AI isn't any longer going to be about whether AI is useful. It clearly is. It's going to be about the psychological danger of the frictionless relationships, the relationships that you can't get rejected from, where there's unconditional validation, where there are no boundaries because the tech companies don't put the boundaries in place, especially for lonely kids or anxious kids or neurodivergent kids, the kids who are the most vulnerable. I think this becomes a crisis point in 2026. After the break, we're going to look at my last 2 big predictions for 2026. We're back. It's the Happy Families podcast, making predictions for 2026 based on the trends and what we need to know about for families.
Number 3 is...
My third one is that as much as I was the ambassador for it and right behind it, the social media ban is backfiring. I'm really, really unhappy with the way that it's rolled out. The big tech companies are resisting. Reddit has taken the eSafety Commission of the federal government to court, arguing that they've done the wrong thing and they're not allowed to do what they've done legislatively. Australia's under 16 ban is going to have mixed results throughout this year. We know that kids are using VPNs. We know that kids are using their dogs' faces or their parents' faces or their big brothers' or big sisters' faces to get into apps that they're not supposed to have access to. We know that teens are moving to platforms that are not blacklisted so that they can continue to do all the things that they've always done. And I think what's going to happen is that... and we also know that a bunch of vulnerable teams have probably lost some crucial support, the networks that they had. So I think that what's going to happen by the end of the year is that the legislation will remain and it will be refined, and there's going to be a lot of talk about whether it's worked or whether it hasn't, but there's going to be more focus on safe access with better guardrails. We just need the big tech companies to be responsible. They're not being responsible. I don't think the blanket ban is actually going to work, but I've still got my fingers crossed for it. Like, I really, 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 really want this to work. And I want parents to stop signing their kids up to social media with fake names or dates of birth. You're not being a cool parent. You're getting it wrong. Your kids don't need it. And if they're running a business, then sign it up in your name and just give them access and work on them with that. Prohibition doesn't usually work as intended. We know that. And over the next 12 months, we're going to see that there is a lot more complexity to this than we had hoped.
I think in spite of the challenges, my position hasn't changed. I honestly believe that it's not going to be this generation that it's going to benefit. We're too deep in. It's going to be this next generation coming through with parents empowered to make better choices on how to keep their kids safe.
So that ties in with my last prediction. my last prediction is that the screen-free childhood movement is going to go mainstream, that we're going to see more and more parents pushing for a play-based rather than a screen-based childhood. So I think that 2026 is going to be the year that screen-free childhood philosophies move from, I wouldn't say that they're fringe anymore anyway, but from more fringe to mainstream for parents of kids under 12, like you said, for the next generation.
Yeah. I'm going to say one of the saddest days that we've experienced as parents is the day our children brought home laptops from school.
Oh, I know.
Like that was something that was kind of brought into our home almost without our consent.
So my prediction, one of my minor predictions that come out of the screen-free childhood movement going mainstream is that schools are going to reduce access to devices in K to 6. I think that we'll still see screens from high school, but I think there'll be more and more schools getting on board and saying, actually, kids in grade 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and even 5 and 6 don't need an iPad. They don't need a laptop. We'll supply them with a device at school when they need it, but we're going to move back to more analog. I genuinely think that's going to happen. I think that screen-free families are going to become aspirational Instagram content. Please laugh at the irony of that. I believe that there's going to be explosive growth for things like phone-free playgroups and tech-free zones. I think that landlines are going to become popular again.
We just got a landline.
We got a landline for our 11, soon-to-be 12-year-old, and she loves it. And she stopped asking for a phone. We'll talk about that on Friday with our I'll Do Better Tomorrow. I also predict that waiting lists for the Waldorf, Stein, and Montessori-style schools who have that slightly alternative and definitely screen-free focus, I think that they're going to triple. Like more and more people want to that goes back to my prediction about the mashup of education. Mm-hmm. We're going to see more and more of an exodus from the mainstream. I think that birthday party invitations are going to specify screen-free parties as a selling point.
Wow.
Major retail outlets are going to launch non-smart devices for kids like basic phones and audio-only devices and that kind of thing. I just think that's where it's headed. The combination of the social media minimum age legislation, the AI companion concerns, the declining outdoor play, the mounting evidence around reduced attention span and persistence and resilience, and the increased sleep disruption and the developmental delays is creating the condition for a cultural shift. And the thing that's made me think this most of all, it ties in with what you said, Kylie, is that it's the parents of the younger kids who are going to lead this, the parents of the under 10s or the under 12s, because they're watching what's happening to teenagers and they're just saying, nah, not my kid. And this is the thing that really clinched it for me, they're thinking about their childhoods. Because I'm talking about the parents now who were born 1998, 1999, 2000, 2001. They're now 25. They're having kids. And they're going, it wasn't good for me. And as a result, they were like 10 or 12 when Snapchat became a thing. They were 5, 6, 7, 8 when Facebook was and Instagram were building. And they're saying, just, it wasn't good for me. I don't want my kids to have it. So I reckon by 2026... giving a 7-year-old an iPad for entertainment is going to be viewed the way smoking around kids is viewed. It's not illegal, but it's definitely going to be judged.
Well, there's some pretty big predictions for 2026.
Yeah, and we'll follow up in a year and see whether I was right or not. We've gone over time, but I think I did pretty well.
Well, my prediction still stands.
Yes, it does, but I'll do better tomorrow. Hey, you know what? I made a big prediction last year that we didn't talk about. It's my meta prediction, my overall prediction. When I say meta, I don't mean the technology company. My big prediction about predictions. And it still holds. If you find ways every single day to genuinely connect with your kids, to see them and to hear them and to value them, your relationship's going to flourish and your love is going to deepen and your family's going to be happier. I stand by that one every single day of the year, this year, next year, and every year thereafter. Hey, thanks so much for listening. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Mim Hammonds provides research, admin, and additional support. And if you'd like to get more info about how to make your family happier, we'd love for you to visit us at happyfamilies.com.au.